Earnestly podcast here. We got two of them now, not just one. We got two. We got Duke Bennett, Rob
The man
Bonnette.
of the hour, the man with the power, too sweet to be sour. That's right, Jack. The Duke for the Duke Loves Wrestling podcast is here, and I'm telling you right now, okay, we got some straightening going on today. There is another person who's part of this panel who has been backsliding. He's been hanging out with the wrong folks. He's been getting the wrong kind of influence. So I want to thank you, brother EJ, for having us on the Earnestly Speaking podcast, so everyone can witness what happens.
First of all, let me
folks go down the wrong road.
Let me split you guys up real quick. I had to go in the middle real quick because I split you guys up.
Yeah, well,
y'all stop fighting.
I'm just telling you. And when I'm done with this, then hopefully Bob can get back to being Rob the Genius, because he's Bob today for the way that he's been acting. Okay, so I'll just leave it at that.
Speaking of Bob, we got, of course, our Freaking Florida podcast, Rob Bonnette, 1/3 of the Mindless Wrestling podcast and host of the Robert Jesus podcast. Rob, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, man, good to be back.
I mean, you signed for this shit, bro. You signed for this shit with Duke today, man.
Oh, boy.
This was supposed to be only me and Duke today, and then you sent me a text. I'm like, oh, I love that idea. And I made sure that Duke was okay with that, and I made sure you were clear on today to do this. It's like, hell yeah. And then Duke, of course, with his, get ready for it. Get ready to moderate.
Well, see, we'll see what it is. See, I wanted to see. I messaged Duke, and we were going to go at one. I wanted to go at it one-on-one, but he's too chicken to go at it one-on-one anymore. So he wanted to have a triple threat match, or he needs somebody to keep me off of him if I knock him down.
Listen, I am 100% organic honey barbecue chicken, okay? We'll just put it like that. Damn it. That's right.
Well, right now, I hate both of you guys, because right now, number one, you got Duke, wearing the Dallas Cowboys hat on my show right now. You should be embarrassed, first of all, that you should be wearing that show this week, because what happened to you on Sunday.
We the boys.
Yeah, it's been 28 years. Relax. And then you have Rob here wearing a Knicks shirt. Now, granted, I don't hate the Knicks in the same way like I used to, but I'm a Heat fan. We know how this rolls. Like, come on. What we doing?
Because look, man, just because don't get mad at me because you guys paid off the referees to suspend half our team back in
97.
Right now.
Yeah,
stop it right now.
I swear, we should do on my basketball retro podcast next year. We should do like a New York Knicks, like a retro, like from that era, New York Knicks retro thingy. Look back those years of failure when you couldn't beat Jordan. Which by I win for you guys. I win for you guys for the record. I hate Jordan, so I'm not even saying that I was like happy about that.
We failed to beat Jordan. I mean,
that's right.
I mean, I wish you guys beat Jordan. Trust me. I'm not Jordan.
Like we're the only ones.
Yeah, for real, man.
John Starks thought he could beat Jordan, and he found out the hard way that just wasn't going to happen.
After the left hand dunk in Game 2 of 93 East Coast Finals, he took it personal. 1-4 in a row for that.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, here's what it is, right?
If Charles Smith wouldn't have punked, they wouldn't have won.
True. No, I'm not on that.
Okay.
Smith stopped again. Marv Albert. Come on, man.
I mean, look, everyone from that team, would get a head nod of respect for me if I saw them walking down the street. Charles Smith would just look at him like, no, just
stop that. He's a nice guy, man.
Well, I bet
I like Charles Smith.
Is he really a nice guy?
That's great, and I have nothing wrong with that. That is really wonderful, and more people need to be nice guys. But when he was out there on the court, he is 7 feet tall, and he should not have gotten the shot blocked 5 times and should not have gotten the ball stolen from him.
Duke, he's still bitter. See, you're still bitter.
40 years later.
Damn right.
30 years
later.
Later.
He cost us. Okay.
Yeah. Although I agree with him, put a record on that. Just a record. And we ain't here to talk about basketball, but that's for another podcast another day. we had to talk some wrestling here. We got a lot going on.
That's right.
WWE, first off, signed their new TV deal. They are going back to USA. So SmackDown's moving to USA beginning next year, October 2024, on a 5-year deal. Included in that deal also, too, is 4 primetime specials per year on NBC. When I saw that, the 4 words came to my mind. And Rob, you know this especially too, because we've been covering this for the last couple of weeks on my other podcast. Saturday night's main event. Just saying.
Yeah.
It writes itself.
Definitely a possibility. Well, you go first, dude, because I got.
But thoughts on the deal. What do you guys think about this deal? I mean, Fox, I guess didn't want to pay as much this time around, and I guess WWE said look around.
It all depends, really. Depends on Well, okay, so Fox definitely did not want to pay the price increase. And I was listening to like one of those sports media podcasts, and they cover this kind of stuff, and it apparently that was like a news court decision. They just didn't want to, they didn't want to do it anymore, and that could very well be like what WCW always had to deal with Turner, that there were always people there who were like just didn't like wrestling or didn't want to. So it could be that, or could just be they didn't want to pay that because. I mean, a lot of the cross branding and cross promotion, it was heavy at first, and then it definitely tapered off over the years. So it very well could be that. Could be they didn't want to pay the price hike. SmackDown was number one show on all of television a lot of weeks now. Not just, on Friday nights, so for them to just say to not want to keep the number one rated show on television and for what would still be a cheaper price, across the board than some 22 episodes of some scripted TV show. That suggests that somebody there just didn't want to, or some people there just didn't want to do it.
Are you saying that the return on the investment from the contract in 2019, the return was not what they thought would be?
See, because people like Dave Meltzer have been hinting at that, but I never, when Dave says something, I don't believe it until somebody else verifies it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But sometimes, look, man, these TV folks are weird, man.
Touch.
Well, because they'll dump a number one rated show because somebody in some high office just doesn't like it. And then they'll come up with some reasoning to justify it afterwards. But
yeah,
it happens. Shows get dumped because some executive doesn't like it or doesn't want it or whatever. It's not even necessarily about ratings. Now Meltzer's reasoning was that the ad revenue wasn't what Fox wanted it to be. I have no idea. Can't help you there, but they were getting like double the TV audience or whatever was there before they started. And again, they were the highest rated show on all the television on Friday nights a lot of times. They're not going to do better.
They average 2 million ish, if not close to 3 million every Friday.
Well, yeah, because this year they've been kind of in the 2.4 range.
Right.
Regularly, which is, you're not going to do better than that. Unless you're broadcasting like NFL games or something on Friday, Fox is not going to do better than that. So, just from little pieces I can put together, it sounds to me like somebody there just didn't want it.
Do you think?
Well, first of all, shout out to WWE for doing the bait and switch. They know that Raw and NXT is going to command a high dollar. And they know that they don't have to necessarily stay in one place in order to get their money. So taking SmackDown and moving it over to USA is just it's a smart move. And don't be surprised if SmackDown extends to 3 hours. I don't think USA Network wants to give up having 3 hours that are programmed, guaranteed. You get that ad revenue. I don't think they're going to give that up. So expect SmackDown to be extended. There's going to be a third hour. The Duke is telling you right now. No two ways about it.
Especially if they don't keep Raw.
But that's the other rumor too. That Raw may be off of USA also too.
Raw is not going to be on USA, and again, the reason is the price tag. It's going to command a lot more. You can expect somewhere between a 40 and 50% increase on their current deal. Right now, SmackDown got a 40% increase, so Raw is going to do a lot more because you got to remember NXT is packaged with Raw, so that's technically. How many hours is that? It's 5 hours.
4 hours. Yeah, 5 hours. Yeah, 5 hours.
5 hours there. In terms of what happened with Fox, it's just dollars and cents, man. Fox is in a very bad financial situation, like most networks are. Let's call it what it is. They just had a big assessment of their books, and it was recommended that they stop spending money. Simple as that. Stop spending money. Moody's actually did the assessment of them, and that was Fox reached out to them and asked for it. So Moody's told them that the WWE deal is not worth it based on the return on investment when they're losing money everywhere else as well. So it's like you're not going to gear up and give these guys more money because they can't make up for what you're losing elsewhere. So here's what's going to happen with Fox as a network. You're going to see more reality TV. You're going to see more game shows, shows like The Masked Singer and things like that. They're in the Nick Cannon business. So you're going to see a lot more things that will give you, good enough ratings. You can sell top dollar advertising and you don't have to spend a lot of money to do it. You know what I mean? That's the reality of it. So don't expect Fox to be anything more than that going forward, at least for the next 5 years. That's not WWE's problem.
I can see them also putting college football on that slot too. Also,
oh, they're not going to spend the money for it.
But they already have it though. FS1 on Friday nights sometimes.
Okay, but we're talking about the big boy,
right?
We ain't talking about FS1. FS1 they didn't pay as much as the big boy would have to pay.
So FS1 is separate. So FS1 is a separate model from Fox itself, like in terms of like right.
You can't charge them the same money for broadcast on FS1 that you would charge for broadcast.
Right,
TV.
that makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. That makes sense.
You know what I mean? So that's the reality of that. But again, in terms of WWE, because I see a lot of people thinking that Fox canceled them because they weren't doing good enough, and all. Just like Bob just said, they've been number one in that slot, and they've maintained that spot. They've never fallen out of the top 5.
Yeah,
I think the lowest they ever were was like number 3. So this is a success. We got to call it what it is.
This is the Fox problem. This is not a WWE problem. This is a Fox
problem.
That's
a Fox problem. That's a Fox problem. WWE went and got that money, though. 40% increase in this day and age when you're talking about TV being a dying thing because streaming is king. You know what I mean? Everyone has the internet now. Streaming is king. The fact that they were still able to get a 40% increase tells you everything you need to know.
Isn't that sick, though? Like we've been wrestling fans for now 40 years, all of it. We're on the same age. And wrestling in 2023 still viable and more than viable.
Well, WWE. I don't know about wrestling.
WWE, right. Well, WWE. Yeah. But the WWE also, in a lot of ways, lifts the ships around them too.
Sure.
By default.
Sure.
So, but the rumors now we hear about, because Raw and /NXT will probably be moved off of USA, the rumors we're hearing now is that they may go to the stream model. They may go, I'm hearing Disney, I'm hearing Amazon, I'm hearing different other entities of that nature. What do you think would be the best fit for Raw and NXT, Duke?
It's a great question. Okay, so I can totally see Amazon, because you got to remember Amazon is in more households right now than USA is.
Correct.
So for a lot of folks who say, well, coming off of TV is going to be a step down. No, there are more people who have access to Amazon. And if you give them a reason to tune in, they're going to tune in. We see that right now at the NFL.
Correct.
Right? People are tuning into those games. So that would be a major step up for the WWE. In fact, they probably have more people watching Raw and NXT if they went to Amazon. But we got to remember that now that they're part of Endeavor under the TKO brand, they're also combined with UFC. And UFC already has that relationship with Disney, through ESPN, right? UFC's deal is coming up in a couple of years. That is going to be a full package deal, WWE and UFC. And in that situation, you can expect ESPN or Amazon to, be the ones that are going to have them all. So my prediction is wherever WWE goes, that's where both companies are going to end up streaming going forward. Okay, I think 2026 is what we're looking at for UFC when their deal is going to be up.
With ESPN, right?
With ESPN.
Correct.
So if WWE makes the Disney deal, then you can expect both companies, they're going to be with ESPN going forward, period.
Right.
What
about you, Rob? What's a good fit for Raw and NXT, you think?
Good question. Because, one thing, like, things are getting kind of weird in the streaming world, because I'm looking at just some numbers here, like looking at the Thursday Night Football thing here, because all right, so far, the Amazon Prime viewing numbers are in line with when they line up with when Thursday Night Football was on Fox, the network.
Correct.
So that would make sense. I don't think they go anywhere. I don't think they put them on another streaming service, because a lot of those other streaming services are having serious money problems right now. And because
Amazon included?
No, I said the other ones, like Disney.
Okay.
Yeah. Because look, the streaming model is basically it's like a pyramid scheme. Basically, it's like because the idea was that we'll give you all of this stuff for a low price, and then the notion was that they would make up the difference with number of subscriptions, right? And that it would all even out. But the number of people, but that subscription growth, those subscription growth targets are not being met, which anybody could have told you would happen because because as you have more and more services now, people have to pick and choose which ones they're going to get because nobody has all of them, right? Because most people can't afford to get all of them, right? And I'm just looking at now like just percentage. I got some numbers here that the guys at WrestleNomics came up with, and again, they're good at gathering information. They're not good at opinions, but okay. But if you but I'm just looking at it here, like the percentage of time spent, like watching cable versus broadcast versus streaming, and of course, cable and broadcast have been in decline. But over like the past year, it's kind of flattened out, so they're not declining as much as they were at one point. Meanwhile,
why do you think that is the case, though?
I mean, I think we've just reached that point where, again, I think they've tapped out the market on people who can afford to get more streaming services, and therefore, and those people who are not getting them, they're sticking with cable and broadcast, and then on the same time, the percentage of time spent watching streaming, it took a dip earlier this year, but it's kind of rebounded. But at one point, it went from
where are those numbers coming from? I
WrestleNomics. Totally you said WrestleNomics.
No, but where are those numbers coming from? So WrestleNomics has got to be quoting. If they're quoting Nielsen, then we know that the data is incorrect because it's not like Brandon himself can measure that. He doesn't have the access to do it.
No,
so he's got to be getting it from an aggregator. Who's he getting it from?
I don't know. I'm just okay, but
listen, you're the mathematician. You should know. Who's he citing? Who's his source?
I just look. I screenshotted the one slide in the presentation. Okay, I didn't.
So what we have here is a guy who's on the take. It's clear that you're in WrestleNomics' pocket.
Oh, good.
You're trying to credit them for research that they don't do, and you won't quote where they're getting that data from.
So you disagree? You disagree with what he's saying?
Well, I know for a fact that it's not true, and we all know that it's not true because we can look at our own viewing habits. We can look at people we interact with. For the most part, we're all streaming.
I'm not. No, you do not know me, sir.
Well, let me see. Okay, us three. I mostly stream, so I know that's right. I'm like 95% streaming, pretty much. 98% streaming.
I am not.
Oh,
you don't stream? You're not on YouTube all the time. You're not on networks and all this stuff, watching stuff all the time.
Not all the time. No.
Stop it right now.
No, I watch plenty of cable, sir. I do.
How much is your consumption streaming?
Depends on the night, and it's not.
See what I mean? Come on.
No, hold on. All right.
But frame it this way: do you stream more, or do you actually use cable more?
I might watch cable more or TV more.
Really?
Listen,
day to day.
No, listen.
Day to day.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Break it down.
Go ahead.
Okay. Sunday, I watched football on TV all day. Okay. I don't have Dish, or I don't have the Red Zone channel. I don't have any of that. I watched it on TV. Okay. I watched football on TV all day. All right. Yesterday, I watched Monday Night Raw, and I flipped between Monday Night Raw and Monday Night Football on TV.
On TV? Okay.
Tonight, if I watch NXT, it'll be on TV, obviously.
He's not lying.
Okay.
But he's only talking about those programs. I want to know about your full consumption for the day.
I watch ESPN.
Not streaming anything online all day. Nothing.
I watch when the new episode of Ahsoka is on. I will watch that. That's an hour. Okay. That is 1 hour.
Think about your whole day. I'm talking about your phone, your computer, your tablet, whatever you consume from the time you're awake to the time you sleep. You're telling me that if you were to add up all of those other things,
it might be 50. Some days it's 50-50. Some days it's 50-50.
3-minute clip here, 15 seconds there.
Some days it's 50-50.
This is what I'm not trying to give you a hard time, but here's my point, fellas. I don't think that people are paying attention to what it means to stream. Okay. If you are on Twitter and there's something going on and you click on that, that's a form of streaming.
Well, I'm not talking
Okay?
about that. I'm talking about when
You got to add all that
So-
up.
No, but they're not
It's all
talking about
part
that
of it.
either. No, I'm talking about when I sit
A
down.
little bit
And,
stretched out, a
Come
little bit.
on now.
no, when
Come on now.
no, when I sit down and watch something, if I'm going to watch.
You're
this.
sitting down watching it. You're watching the clip. What do you mean? That's streaming. Technically,
I
that's
ain't gonna lie
streaming.
to you. I'm virtually 100% streaming at this point now because the only time I
Brother.
ever watched TV at this point, and that ended last year, was when I watched the parade with my wife on NBC, and now they put it on streaming now. So I'm 100% streamer now.
No,
I'm out.
not.
I mean, I'm out. Everything I stream now.
I'm
I know,
70-30. I'm
What,
70-30.
We streaming 70%.
70% streaming because
Okay.
I watch a lot of local news and things like that. And the networks, if there's something on the networks, why am I going to flip
Right.
over to Sling to watch it on Sling when I can just watch it on my TV? I have
And Sling is still streaming.
Well, so I'm a
It's-
Luddite.
yeah.
Okay. If I can watch it on if I can watch it on TV, I will watch it on TV.
sure,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
and even like stuff like when Law and Order is on Thursday, right? I'd rather watch it when it's sometimes I miss it when it's on TV and then I watch it later on Peacock or whatever. But if I'm there when it's coming on live, I watch it on TV.
How many
Look,
clips
So
do you
you're
watch
calling-
on
you're
your
calling
phone?
You call Robert Dinosaur? You calling him? He's
Oh,
No, I know he's not telling the truth.
Well,
How
no,
many clips do you watch?
no,
on your
I
phone,
am
Rob?
telling.
Answer the question.
I don't watch Law and Order on my phone. I watch it on the TV.
How many clips do you watch on your phone on an average day?
of a TV show?
Anything? How many clips?
No, I'm talking about stuff that I watch. No, when I sit down to watch a TV show, I
No,
watch
that's
it
not
on
the
the
caveat.
television.
That's
He
not how you
probably
measure it.
to
That's not how
Rob's
you
point.
measure
He probably does watch more TV than we give him credit for, but he probably streams more than I don't think we even give credit for. To your
He
point,
doesn't realize he's streaming
Right.
more than anything else because it all
Twitter
adds
and all
up.
that stuff. Yeah, right.
You're
YouTube,
awake.
yeah.
You're awake at least 15 to 18 hours a day. If you were to add up everything that you do, right, in terms of consuming, you're watching something.
Any
right?
content that is TV,
And
any
you
content.
compare what you watched on TV to what you watched on every other medium. I
Okay.
guarantee you're streaming a lot more than you give yourself credit for.
And first of all, I did not say people were watching more TV than streaming. Okay, you cut me off. Okay, I said that the decline.
Get him, Rob.
I said that the decline had bottomed out. Okay, I did not say that people were watching more. Okay,
Well, if you did, then you would be telling another fib.
I
So
said that the decline has evened out. Okay,
yeah, but you
and-
can't prove it. I asked you to cite the source.
Well, you
and all
can't prove what
do
you're
is-
saying either. You
Of
only
course I
prove-
can.
No, you can't.
I just proved it just now. What do you
Your
mean?
only proof is
What are you talking
you.
about? What do you listen? Give me your
No.
phone. I'm gonna
That's
do
like-
an
no.
examination.
That's like me saying that everybody's a Knicks fan because I'm wearing a Knicks t-shirt. Okay, that's all you did.
If you give me your phone and I look at your watch hours, I guarantee you have at least 2 to 3 hours every single day that you're watching on your phone in general of streaming. That
Yeah.
adds up.
And that's
Well,
a lie.
maybe.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
Look, I gotta go get food just got here. Okay, I gotta run to the door really quickly.
Yeah, that's right. No, he's going to go into the corner and talk to Russell Dobbix.
Right,
Go ahead,
man.
Howard
Thurston
I'll be right
is
back.
there.
Okay?
Brandon Howard Thurston is in there.
I'll be
gotta
right
regroup.
back. I'll be right back. Okay.
See,
No, bro.
this is the thing, EJ. This is the thing, brothers and sisters out there, and all you humanoids who need to pull up your skinny jeans as well. Here's what we got to understand, okay? When we talk about streaming, if we're going to measure this properly, then it's about whenever you do anything but watch TV, how are you consuming something? Outside of the radio, how are you consuming something when you're watching? That is streaming. You are streaming content. So we can't say that people are watching more traditional television over streaming because it's just not true. More people are cutting the cord. More people have access to YouTube. They have Facebook. They have Twitter. All of that contributes to streaming hours.
No, you're right.
Because
To your point,
you're
you're right.
watching something. When they watch this show, you know what they're going to be doing? Streaming
Streaming it. No. And to your point, you're correct. I think what he was trying to make, the point he was trying to make is that, he watches more linear TV, more cut TV than
shows.
shows. I think we weren't considering the Twitter or the random TikTok.
But
or the
see, this is the problem, though.
shorts.
Why would you not consider that? Because that is you consuming some type of entertainment, right? That's keeping you away from watching TV.
Right.
So whoever's measuring it, I guarantee you, if you want an accurate number on what to what, brother, it ain't no comparison. My mother will send me YouTube clips and Facebook
Wait,
clips
my mother?
of funny
Or your mother?
Jamaican Yes,
She prefers me, remember?
Our mother.
Yeah.
Yes.
She prefers me than you, remember?
Listen,
Last time we told that.
forget about that. When she sends me something, I send it to you. So when we see the funny jokes, Jamaican jokes, Caribbean jokes, and stuff like that, what are we doing? We're streaming.
Yeah.
We're not watching TV at that point. We're taking the 30 seconds, the minute to 2 minutes to go watch that thing. You know what I mean?
I already told you I'm 100% streamer now, 100%.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I watch any TV anymore. Because everything is to a stream. Everything, whether it's an app or it's a even if it's a Sling, it's still Sling is still streaming. You know. So to your point, I'm with you on that one.
I keep up with the local channels on traditional TV just because local news and stuff like that. I can't get that on Sling.
That's your 30% though.
That's my 30%.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's clear that it is the case now. All right, let's move on to the releases last week because while there was good news in WWE in terms of the company making yet another profit, we had some releases this week, or last week rather, at the company as well too. From the same day the deal was signed. Some normal names here: Dolph Ziggler, your favorite, Matt Riddle, Mustafa Ali, Benjamin, Elias, Emma, Aaliyah, Top Dollar, Madcap Moss, Rick Boogs, Mason Mansoor, Shanky, Dabba-Kato, and Dana Brooke. To me, I look at these names like none of these names are surprising at all. Like none of these names here, in my opinion, were names that were really being used at even a middle level to where, honestly, to me, when I saw these names, this is real fat cutting here for me when I saw. I feel bad for these names, but it felt like more fat cutting. I mean, Riddle's probably the only guy of the bunch here that was probably being used at a somewhat decent level, but the Rebels on the wall with that guy for a long time anyway. So, did any releases surprise you, Rob?
Surprise? Just because he was in the middle of a storyline on NXT television, the timing for Ali seems a little weird.
But he asked for the release like a year and a half ago.
Right, but since then, yes, so we know that. So, I mean, did they just decide, okay, fine, now? It's just he was in the middle. He was about to have a title match on an NXT Takeover.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it's kind of weird. And they completely shifted gears from that, obviously. But
right,
that's the only one that, like, a lot of these folks, like some of these folks, they were on the clock as soon as Hunter took over.
Yeah,
and their time got significantly reduced almost from the moment he took over. So that's Dana Brooke, that's Elias, Shelton Benjamin, and then there's some other people who he did put on TV for a little while, but then pulled the plug, and that's Emma, Madcap Moss, Aaliyah. Like he gave them a few months, put them on TV a little bit, but then pulled the plug after a little while. So like you said, these people were not really being, other than Ali, none of these folks are really being used like that. And so it's not surprising. And now Dolph Ziggler has been trying to get out for years.
Oh, he was? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I think he just didn't want. I think he's ready just to move on in life. I think. And
really, I thought it was okay being a mid card or a low.
Because he does other things, and because they talked him into staying this last.
Oh, okay. Show. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's ready. He's been ready to just move on.
Okay.
And so I guess they finally granted him his wish, they didn't try to talk him out of it this time or whatever. But no, these are folks that are mostly not being used. So, and look, there's some other folks who really aren't being used that much who are still there right now. And I'm not going to run through because I'm not wishing. Look, I don't wish release on anyone unless you're just like some horrible human being, right? But yeah, there are folks that are not being used. And on the Mindless Wrestling podcast, we've been warning about this for well over a year now, because a lot of people like to get on Twitter and they like to say, well, WWE needs to bring in this person. They need to sign that person. They need to call this person up from NXT. And we've been saying for a long time that, look, they got the same number of hours of TV time. And so there's no way they're going to bring these people in and call this person up and keep everybody who's already there. There just isn't enough time.
Right. And
my warning is always that, it's easy to say, well, they just release some people, but sooner or later they're going to release somebody you actually care about. and then you'll look at it a little bit differently.
Right.
But this was going to happen, and merger or no merger, this was going to happen eventually because they got too many people. They just do. They got too many people. AEW has too many people. Big wrestling companies oversign. Eric Bischoff oversigned in WCW.
Oh, tell me about it.
Okay, Vince during the 80s oversigned. They signed people that it gets to the point where they just sign people just to have them because they'd rather have you and not do anything with you for a while than the other guys have you. Or sometimes they just would like to have you because just in case they come up with something for you. And so big wrestling companies oversign. It is the same way that college football programs oversign. You see you see 100 kids on the sideline of a college football game, and like 20 or 30 of them are never going to play in 4 years. They sign, like Alabama will sign 6, 5-star running backs, and over the 4 years, maybe 2 of them will start. Maybe 2 or 3 of them will play. There'll be 2 or 3 5-star blue chip running backs who never even get on the field. Okay.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. These big teams, big organizations, big companies, they oversign, and eventually they do let people go. It just, so you shouldn't be surprised. You may now individually, this name or that name may surprise you, but it shouldn't be surprised that it happened.
Right. Duke, no name surprised you here, of course, right?
No, I mean, I'm a little disappointed that Top Dollar was released. That's my long lost cousin right there. Good man. And I feel like, a person with his pedigree, there's no reason why you can't figure out something to do with him that makes sense. Even if it's not in a wrestling ring for whatever reason, this guy he's a perfect host. And with all the media things that WWE has going on, and now, expanding with being part of TKO, Top Dollar would be a perfect guy to have a studio show talking about UFC, talking about WWE, talking about sports. People would tune in and watch that because he's actually a very engaging person. So I was a little disappointed that he was released. I felt they should have repurposed him. But I'm going to tell you right now, shout out to my good friend Vincent Kennedy McMahon, because he did the right thing and he listened to what I had to say. I told him from the beginning, Ali, do not release him. You bust him back down to NXT and job him out. You want to go online, you want to try to force your way out, you want to not honor the contract that you signed. Well, here's what's going to happen, pal. We're going to have everybody beat you. Everybody beat you on TV. So you learn your lesson. And then when we feel like we've gotten the value out of you, then you can go. So that's what happened with him. And I got nothing personal against him. I actually like Ali. I think he's a great guy, former law enforcement officer, great family, respect to him. But he needs to learn how to do business the right way. Simple as that. So now you can go. And now you can go and be an enhancement talent in AEW as well, because that's probably what's going to happen. Good for you. Dolph Ziggler, they paid him more money, kept him around. They didn't want him to leave because he's a veteran. He has a lot of value. But now that they've done the sale, they got their billions of dollars. They don't need this guy anymore. So you can go too. You want to leave? Everybody can leave. Let me tell you something. Big Shot Rob can leave right now if he doesn't like it. Okay? It's as simple as that. You're going to show up.
It's my show.
Do the right thing. You're going to make yourself available. You're going to honor your contract. And if you don't, then you're gone. It's as simple as that. Okay? And this nonsense that they got too many people is exactly that. Nonsense. People get injured. People get pregnant. People, for whatever reason, can't fulfill their duties. Sometimes, unfortunately, people pass away. You need to have bodies who are prepared to be put on TV. And most importantly, somebody has to lose. Every single one of those people have lost on television in the past year. You need to do that. How do you get your stars over unless that happens? You know what I mean? So it had to happen. Now,
there's zero surprises. There's zero surprises here on all these names. Zero surprises.
Well, I'm on the Top Dollar thing. I think that makes no sense whatsoever to get rid of a talented guy like that. Everybody else, whatever. Dana Brooke, I feel bad for her because I feel like she's a person everyone cheers for. She's a person everyone wants to win in life, and I hope that she lands because she is talented. But outside of that, everybody else, what are you going to do?
Yeah,
what are you going to do? You know what I mean? You want to ask for your release? Now you have it. Now let's see you make something of yourself somewhere else.
Go ahead, Rob, what's up?
Because now we talking about needing people to lose. That was because Top Dollar was a guy. He wasn't, he wasn't bothered with going out there and doing the job, right? And
At all. Yeah.
You need people. Dana Brooke was also not bothered with going out there and doing a job, right? And because I know some people have been calling for Dana Brooke to get fired for years.
Oh yeah, for the last couple of years, absolutely.
My answer to that is always, okay, somebody has to go out there and take those losses.
Yep.
If they get rid of her, who's going to do it? And if they pick one of your favorite people to do it, what are you going to say?
They're going to say, "Oh, they're putting Charlotte over again." They're going to complain.
Oh, right. Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I made that same take about Natalya. People complain because Natalya gets her one title match every year. Yep. It's like on a pay-per-view or whatever. Maybe she might get one more. She might get one more title match on television. And there are always people complaining, why they gotta go with Natty again? And it's like she gets one match a year and she doesn't win.
And Natty stays ready.
And
Natty's always stay ready. Absolutely.
Yeah, and when they need somebody put over before they go to a big match, she goes out there and she does it. And now,
can we talk about the fact that Natty looks incredible? Can we talk about
absolutely,
that?
Absolutely,
beautiful, Natty. Shout out to you, looking incredible. All these years later, just literally as great as you've ever looked. Good stuff.
And so she goes out and she does that. So she lost to Tegan Knox last night in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah,
if she's not there to do that,
what a joke.
Because Tegan Knox is going to lose to Becky next week.
What a joke. Right. Tegan Knox. Give me a break.
So
give me a break.
They had to get Tegan Knox need to win something before she goes out there and loses to Becky next week.
What the hell is a Tegan Knox?
I don't know.
Right? But what the hell is a Tegan Knox?
So Natty went out there and she did that. And if it wasn't her, who was it going to be? Right. Because if they gotten Candice LeRae to do that, then people are complaining, or why they got Candice LeRae is too good to be losing on TV in 2 minutes. Because there are people who, there's or Nikki Cross or one of the other, somebody had to go out there and do it. And Natty is always, she's always willing. She'll take a loss to put somebody over. She'll go out there and she'll get her one title match every year and go lose that, and then to make the champion look good for a night.
That's her job.
But if it's not her, it's going to be somebody else, and it's and it's going to be one of these little internet darlings that y'all like to go on Twitter and hype up so much. Okay.
Listen, and Tegan Knox should be in AEW. She has no business in WWE. There is nothing about her performance. There's nothing about anything she's done in the past 5 years that warrants her to have a roster spot. Not in my opinion. Not in the big time. You should be in AEW. They can accentuate your weaknesses. And your strengths, and then they can hide your weaknesses a little bit more in AEW, unless you're just botching all over the place. I just don't understand why anyone gives a damn that this lady is supposed to do anything, because look, that knee is busted. It's done. It's finished. She keeps getting injured. And I'm not trying to be mean about this, but we got to be serious.
It's reality. You're right. It's reality. Yeah.
This is the big time. You have no business wrestling on Monday Night Raw. There is nothing you've done in that company that warrants you to be wrestling on Monday Night Raw. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me ask this question then. Of these names that we mentioned earlier, which names can you see return to the company in the near future?
Top Dollar.
Because you want it to happen? Are you trying to manifest that, or you see it really happening?
Listen, man, I'm working on it, man. I'm calling in all my shots. I want my cousin back in that company, man. I feel like he's somebody that can add to the team, so to speak. And I want these little humanoids to cry about it because they hate him. Okay?
That's it? Top Dollar for you?
Well, and Dana Brooke, I like Dana. I think she would be a great ambassador for the company. That's somebody that everyone roots for. So why wouldn't you put her out there to be a star and all that stuff?
What about you, Rob?
I think Riddick Moss, because he's just such an athlete and physical specimen.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
That dude with his size and his athletic ability.
What is what?
Athletic ability.
His what?
Athletic what? Riddick Moss?
Yes.
Are you kidding me right now?
Probably not.
No, but now my thing with Dana Brooke is that the stuff she was performing the best at was like the comedy sketches and the comedy skits and whatnot. Hunter doesn't really do that like that. So that's why she was on the clock when he took over, because one of the first things he did was get rid of the 24/7 title. And I know, like, look, I know, like, the real serious wrestling fans out there don't like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But when you have a 3-hour television show, you need a few moments of silliness and fun type of stuff to break up the monotony, so to speak.
And it drew ratings and it drew money. And 24/7 title, it drew money, right?
That's what her and Tamina were doing was just, it was excellent, and it was and you need some of that in your show. And there's one criticism. I mean, I have my criticisms of Hunter as a creative head or whatever. One of them is that, that they jettison most of that stuff.
Big mistake.
And you can say what you want about the Maximum Male Model guys. They were doing the same type of thing, right? It's you need some of that on your show for a 3-hour show or even a 2-hour show. I mean, you have less of it on a 2-hour show, obviously, but you're asking people to sit there that whole time and watch that whole thing. And this is in a world where there are a million different things to flip to, or to go to your phone to do, or look, if I'm not feeling where the show is going, I immediately turn on PS5. And so with all those million other things to do, you need to break up the tone, and you need to switch up the vibe a little bit. And that's where people like Dana Brooke come in, because your top people are not going to do that stuff. I mean, they're not, right? And so, but it's unfortunately, if they were still doing those kind of things, then I would have her tabbed to somebody to come back. But if they're just not going to do that type of stuff, then somebody like her is just, the place just isn't going to be there for her on the show, unfortunately.
Yeah, I still think there could be a point where Dolph Ziggler, if he decides he wants to come back, to say, okay, cool.
No, he shouldn't come back. See you
later.
No. Finish with him.
No, but
finish with him.
No, but if he says, I want to come back, he's back.
No.
You don't like him?
No. Triple H has abused him enough. I'm sick and tired of whatever this vendetta is. I don't know what happened. Clearly, Triple H is jealous of Dolph Ziggler. He has completely destroyed that man. That man he already has a Hall of Fame career. He should have been champion at least 5 times by now.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean? So the fact that he's been abused the way that he's been abused, it's embarrassing.
What about Shelton Benjamin? You see him back? Oh, you get the last one. You see him back
for what?
I don't know.
Why should he waste his time anymore? They got rid of the Hurt Business.
Yeah.
And there was nothing wrong with the Hurt Business, which is the worst part. Yeah. And I know that the Hurt Business was Vince McMahon. Okay. They got rid of the Hurt Business because Triple H didn't want to sit there and watch those fantastic black men be the best thing going on the damn show. He got rid of them. You know what I mean? So what do we say to that? No, Shelton, don't even give them the time of day. Go to somewhere else. Go to Impact. Go to AEW. Go back to Japan. Go do something else. Make your money somewhere else, because you'll make it. And Shelton, you can reach out to me, brother. I got some things for you. Don't worry. We'll make it work. But don't waste your time in a company with a guy like Triple H, New Coke, who's one of the worst I've ever seen in my life. This guy here. I'm going to tell you right now. You can mark my words. A year from now, Triple H will not be in his position in that company. He's finished.
Whoa.
He's finished.
That's a
okay.
Bold take.
It's over for him being in that position.
September 26th.
Mark my words. I don't even think he'll make it to WrestleMania.
Bennett. I'm writing this down right now.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now. I've already made it clear. I want him out. I want him out.
You want him out?
I don't like the whole nonsense with Ciampa being on Raw and doing all this stuff. I don't want to see Kofi Kingston wrestle the Viking Raiders every other week. There's just a lot of I don't want to see Tegan Knox. There's just a lot of nonsense going on. Where the hell is Omos?
I thought you were enjoying the Triple Hunter experience for the last couple
Absolutely
months.
Not. Where the hell is Omos? Where the hell are the big guys beating up on people? I want to see Nia Jax break somebody's nose. Okay? I want to see things that make sense in pro wrestling. I don't want to see friggin' Tegan Knox. I'm sorry.
What about Elias?
Or Ciampa.
What about Elias? What about Elias? Huh? I enjoy his character, Elias.
He'll be great in Impact Wrestling. He's an Impact wrestler. He's not WWE. Okay. He's Impact.
All right. The great one came back a couple weeks ago, The Rock.
Yeah.
You think he'll be here for a while?
No.
We'll be here through WrestleMania.
I think that he's already been signed for a couple of matches. So he's going to do that, but we're not going to see him much. It's not like he's not going to be John Cena doing a full tour.
No, does he need to?
This is the whole, Hollywood strike. That's all this is.
And that's almost over now. It's almost over.
Well,
the writers,
you still got to recoup that money. There's a lot of money being lost. You know what I mean? So you don't wait. You got to start earning some of that back. So if you're gonna pay The Rock a couple $1 million to wrestle a couple matches, hey, you know what I mean? Why not? And also he keeps his brand alive, which is more endorsements and things like that. So that's all that is with him. So but I need Roman Reigns to destroy him though. That would be fantastic.
So do we get The Rock between now and Mania? We'll get him. Mania?
Two matches,
including the match.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Rob, what about you?
Okay, I was surprised the degree to which, because he did like a full court press, a couple Fridays ago. I was surprised at that amount of that he just put out there like that, and and saying that they had WrestleMania 30 mind, they had agreed to it. And I'm saying that.
Do you believe him? Do you believe him though?
Yes.
Okay.
Because look, he said he didn't say that talking to some dirt sheet guy or something.
He said McAfee.
Right. He said that on big media, and it got picked up and covered by big media outlets. So he put himself on the spot. If that's not true, then he didn't lie to some dirt sheet writer. Okay. He didn't lie to Nick Houseman. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. If he's not telling the truth, he lied in a very public way, and in such a way that gave a lot of people hope for a future thing. And that would be very damaging to his brand. Okay. Now that doesn't mean maybe they don't come to an agreement this time. Maybe they don't. But I'm willing to go out on a limb and say that he wouldn't have done all of that, all the Pat McAfee stuff, coming back on SmackDown the same night. I don't think you do all of that just for a one-off.
Right.
There's got to be something else agreed to at this point. We don't know what it is. But there's no way he just did that just to have a fun weekend. And I don't think that has anything to do with the strike either. I think it's just it's now or never time for him as far as doing one more run.
He doesn't need one more run. He's doing it for business. He doesn't need one more run.
To his point, that doesn't mean to run. It's a business. Business, same thing.
No, if the Hollywood strike doesn't happen, we don't get The Rock. It's as simple as that. If the strike doesn't happen, we don't get The Rock. The strike is why we get The Rock.
Hey David, hey Rob.
Right. Makes sense. I don't know. Well, I'm happy. I'm happy for the strike, obviously, but I'm happy that we're gonna get The Rock at least one more run, as you say, quote unquote.
Sure.
But it only makes sense if you're paying off the Roman story.
Well, you have to.
That's the only match that's the only match you want him for.
Well, that doesn't mean WWE's not going to force him to do something else. I think what they did, with the kid makes a lot of sense. Austin Theory, clearly no one has gotten a bigger push than Austin Theory at this point.
Oh, by the way,
what's that?
That segment with The Rock did way more for him than the whole Cena thing did.
Absolutely it did. But at least they're trying. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. No one is getting a rub like this. Who gets a rub like this?
Is it working though?
I think so.
If it's not working, it's Theory's fault. It certainly is not a lack of trying by the company.
Do you think? No, well, right. But to your point, do you think Theory is good enough to be at that spot? Even at
absolutely.
Okay,
Theory is a.
I like Theory. I think I think it's good. But
he just doesn't know his character. That's his problem.
When you get out,
know his character.
When you get outside of the Twitter bubble.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the thing, because I know like wrestling Twitter is saying that he's already cooked and all of that. No.
Yeah.
If you get outside the Twitter bubble, when he gets into the right character, like the segment with The Rock, he was in the right character. Okay, he's he's a loudmouth jerk. Right?
Going back to the original character, sort of.
Yes. Yeah. When he stays in that, then it works, and he gets heat and all of that stuff. Okay. And the thing what happened with the Cena thing is Cena did what he sometimes does, which is he doesn't play along with the script, and he goes out there to make you look like you're bad at your job. And he's done that to people. He tried it with Roman. He did it with Roman a few years ago. when he did the whole thing, it's called a promo, kid, right? That's that was making Joe look bad at his job. That wasn't that wasn't the thing with the character, right? And that's what he did with Theory earlier this year. That wasn't about even doing anything with the characters. That was about making the man look bad at his job. So in this segment, they didn't do that. They stayed within character. Theory got to play his character properly, and the segment got paid off the way it's supposed to get paid off. He's supposed to mouth off to the Rock or the Stone Cold Steve Austin or whoever, and then they lay him out, right? That's how and he did it perfectly, and it went, and that did more for him to get him over as a loudmouth jerk than that whole thing with Cena did. And Cena went out there and worked kind of a half mail-in kind of match at WrestleMania. That was just a not good performance from him at all. And Theory didn't get anything out of beating him.
No. In fact, you could argue it hurt him.
And I put that on Cena because Cena did not look good out there.
I can't have this. I can't have you guys blaming John Cena for Theory.
I'm not blaming John Cena. I'm just saying it was not a great match.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. Listen. I let my friends know in WWE that they need to pair up Austin Theory with Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller is a guy who doesn't have it in the ring yet, but he certainly has his character down, and that's what they're doing. And now, to complete the circle, they need to put those two guys with The Miz. And let's finish the job. And now you have a stable of people who are going to work a safe WWE style. Those two guys can learn from Miz. Those two guys can make each other better in the gym and all that good stuff. And coming out of that, Austin Theory will be the biggest name in wrestling. No question about it, because when the bell rings, he's that damn good. I had Scoot Andrews. You're a Florida guy. You should know who the Black Nature Boy Scoot Andrews is. Ring of Honor and ECWA in those years and stuff. Great friend. He wrestled Theory 2 years ago, and he told me flat out, he said, he's a real deal. That kid is a real deal. No question about it. He has it in the ring. So that tells me all I need to know. You know what I mean? There's no question about that. If he didn't make something out of that experience with Cena, that's his fault. You can't blame an established guy like John Cena for Theory not getting over when they're putting everybody in front of Theory and he's not getting over. Theory was with Johnny Gargano in that damn stable down in NXT for how long? You would think he'd be a lot further along at this point, right? He was with Vince McMahon. Jesus Christ!
He's putting on Theory.
It's 100% on Theory. It's 100% on him. There's something not clicking with him in terms of character. And then when he was trying to pretend to be The Rock, right? When he was doing this thing with the sunglasses and all that nonsense, and he had the U.S. title, or did he have the IC title? He had one of the titles, U.S. title. No one believed it. The kid hasn't figured out his character, and that's okay.
They went from him being a jerk, like a douchebag jerk, to this ass kicker heel.
Yeah,
which is fine. But I feel like go back to the original jerk thing. Do with the cell phone.
With the selfie thing, yeah. Do the selfie thing. Yeah, I love it.
People was like, I hate that. Good. Supposed to.
If you can't get over with Vince McMahon, that's your fault.
Yeah.
So don't tell me about John Cena.
No, I don't think it's Cena's fault.
But Bob is, because Bob's over here. He's paid off. He's over here making statements because he's in there, he's in their pocket. So he's doing his little thing. He's trying to take away from John Cena, a good friend of mine, who will be a guest on Duke Loves Wrestling podcast as soon as this Hollywood strike is over, by the way. So that's why I can't trash John Cena. But it is what it is.
Who's in the tank now?
Who's in the tank? Thank you.
Make sure you scrub that from the recording, okay? I don't want that getting out. But the point's still the point here. We can't blame other people because Theory's not getting over. Young man, you sit down under the learning tree of The Miz and you learn something. Damn right.
The Miz the man, by the way. You saw the news today. She's officially WWE now. She's out of AEW. Jade Cargill.
Yep.
Official. I'm surprised they made a big deal on the WWE website. They made an actual announcement.
You know why?
Why is that?
Because they want to play mind games with Tony Khan. Okay,
I don't know why they need to. It's clear that there's number one and number two.
Because it's funny. That's all. It's a simple. He wants to make big announcements. He wants to talk all his nonsense. So they're just playing mind games with him. Well, Jade Cargill can't wrestle. She is legitimately one of the worst wrestlers I've ever seen in my life. She is terrible in the ring. She's borderline unsafe in the ring. And I have made that clear. The reason why she says green like money is because I was calling her green all the damn time. She's terrible. But she's also gorgeous and statuesque, and she's a star. And when she walks into a room, everyone else doesn't matter. She does. That woman is one of one. There's no question about it.
Right. So I ask you this because the rumor is that she's going to go straight to the main roster, not do developmental, all that. I think it's a mistake personally. That's just my opinion. But I look at her, I see superstar. I don't see star. I see superstar, like someone that's going to be. But obviously, the thing is the in-ring thing. She's got a lot of work done there.
They're going to give her the best trainers. They're going to give her the best trainers.
And that's what I'm going to say. Well, if this is AEW, I'd say, oh God, WWE. I'm going to trust WWE and their guys to at least make her workable to where she's the star and she actually at least looks like someone that knows what the hell she's doing in the ring.
Yeah, I mean, look, Bad Bunny had people like AJ Styles, Shawn Michaels, Road Dogg. He had people who literally were tailored to him, working with him. You know what I mean? No different from McAfee and some of these other guys.
And arguably had a match of the year this year.
Exactly. So Jade Cargill is going to get the type of training that is going to blow everybody's mind if you were to find out who's training her. And I have an idea of some of the people going to be working with her. I'm telling you right now, if she doesn't learn how to be better than what we saw, then that is a big miss, because there is money to be made with somebody who looks
absolutely.
Like that. Bring her to Saudi Arabia and see how much money they'll want to pay to just see her do anything. Right? Bring her to Australia. Bring her to England in a real match. AEW didn't even put her in a match in England. Morons. So you're going to make money off of Jade Cargill versus Charlotte versus Bianca. But before that, I need Nia Jax to give her the WWE welcome. Okay. And APA style. Okay. Let her know she's in the big leagues now. And if she can handle that, then she's in. Now, if she can't handle that, then go back to that other place that you were at.
Yeah. Rob, your thoughts on Jade?
Okay. All depends on. Well, I think the Goldberg analogy is the best one, and so it all depends on who they put her with, what kind of situations they put her in on TV. I think going to the main, she may make her television debut on the main roster, but if they have her debut like next week or something, that's a colossal mistake. She needs to work in the PC for a few months, and then she needs to be handled right on television. You need to start her out with squashes, and then you move her up to somebody like Natalya, who can, and she should do like a 3-month road trip with Natalya, where they just do house show matches with each other.
It's a good idea.
And they need, and don't be impatient. Don't jump the gun, because the worst thing you can do, because look, I don't care, and this is one of those, look, I don't care how good somebody looks, if they go out there and they look like just crap, like they just cannot wrestle, it's going to affect things. You cannot send somebody out there who looks like they just flat out cannot wrestle.
But she's already done that though, Rob.
But it's in a second-rate company where most of the people watching didn't see.
But you've been very quiet about the fact that Jade Cargill's an abysmal wrestler.
Well, no,
I believe her star
nonsense.
But I believe, though, even with that AEW, and we all agree with that, she was a bad wrestler in AEW.
Do we agree? Because Rob's not on the record about that.
No. But I think her star power actually supersedes her bad wrestling. Honestly,
she's the worst wrestler in the history of life.
No, but
she's terrible.
There are limits to how. Okay, well, I'm not saying she's abysmal. Okay, I'm not saying that.
See what I mean? How could you not say a person who wrestles like that?
Dude, that's because you're mean. You're a mean guy.
Exactly.
That's why.
Exactly. Now,
you
over embellish everything.
Listen, Rob is about to jump through the computer screen. He's getting so irritated with me right now because I'm dissing his girlfriend. Jade Cargill is the worst wrestler in the history of life. Admit it. She's the worst.
You worse than Goldberg?
There's no one who's ever been put on television who has wrestled worse than her. When you look at everything that she's done, it's scary how bad she is. And in fact, she got worse.
That's
when you look at her first 2 matches and then you compare it to everything else she's done, it's like, whoa, who the hell is that?
Okay.
Come on. You got to admit it.
You want to counter that, Rob? Go ahead.
Okay. I'm not going to say all of that.
There you go.
But
of course you're not.
Get Duke in line, Brad. Get Duke in line.
Of course he's not.
We gotta do this more often, Dwight. This is fun.
Look. Okay. No, if you go out there and you just flat out cannot look, because there are limits. I mean, look only get you so far. Because I mean, if you're just terrible,
come on,
then
Rob. She's already wrestled a bunch of matches. Over 20 matches she's wrestled. You have enough data. Give us an assessment. Don't speak generally. Talk specifically. You've seen her quality of work.
She's not very good right now. No.
Oh, okay.
She made marginal improvements.
What improvement in the ring?
Marginal.
Okay,
what improvement did she make in the ring?
That's not good enough, though.
I'm gonna repeat what I said on the Mindless Wrestling podcast.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And that is, she had a few okay matches, and because we like her, we gave her a participation trophy.
Embarrassing.
Okay. That's okay.
Embarrassing.
That's okay.
You're
because
crazy, Duke.
because I said she didn't have any good matches in AEW, and then the other guys kind of looked at me like, really? And I was like, well, come on now. So no, she did not have any. No. Okay.
You can't say she didn't have any good matches. She was not good. It's not like whoever she wrestled wasn't good. That wasn't the issue.
Okay.
You can't blame the match. You got to blame her.
Okay. I'm being. I try to be diplomatic about this stuff. Okay.
This is wrong. You will criticize so many other people, like my good friend Jack Perry, who is literally the savior of AEW. You will criticize Jack Perry, the biggest star in the history of that company. The boy was famous before he was even born. That's how big of a star he is. Okay? But you can't tell the truth about Jade Cargill. What the hell is going on here?
Duke's a grenade, man. Come on. Duke just comes and blows shit up. You're like, you just suck. You just fucking suck.
Come on. We got to tell the truth. Listen, did I not bury Tegan Knox as well? It's not like I'm over here picking favorites.
Yeah, you did.
Duke, you're clearly not a parent. you have the space to do this shit.
Yeah, that's true.
In my house, I gotta do that with my kids, unfortunately.
Right. I mean, yeah. So okay, well, look, it's yes, there's going to be some smoke and mirroring to however her career goes. Yes. Okay. Because at this point, like she's she's over 30. Getting her development in as fast as they're going to want to get her out there in big matches. No, she's not going to. Her development or her learning, she's not going to get. There's going to be a ceiling to how much better she's going to get. I do think she can get a lot better, but there's going to be the need to do that versus the want to get her out there, out in front of the public and all of that stuff. So that probably will limit just how much she actually does improve. So it's just a matter of what kind of situations they put her in and who they put her with. And that's what's going to determine everything. If that's just what it is. I mean, like, they're going to have to manage her. They're going to have to stage manage her matches, ring time, everything. Okay.
Right.
And they're going to have to. And how well they do that is going to determine how things go. Because, if she goes out there and she just looks bad, then if she goes out there and she looks inept, then that's gonna put a damper on things. So Jade
Cargill, you're the worst wrestler I've ever seen in my life. There's no one who's ever wrestled worse than you. You're the worst, and you should be, because you were put in a situation where you were not trained properly. You put out too soon, all that good stuff. You are a star, though. I've never seen.
So you're saying that there's no hope for her.
No, I've never seen anyone look as impressive as Jade Cargill. She's a star.
As a wrestler,
I like her. Okay, she looks impressive, and she's somebody who's going to turn heads. She needs to dedicate herself to training. It's as simple as that. You need to learn how to be a wrestler. It's as simple as that. And if you put the work in, then maybe you'll be better than the worst wrestler ever. That's it.
I'll say as much. She's in the right situation now to get better. If it's going to get better, at least here.
If she can't get better in WWE, she should have never been.
Just don't stop wrestling. Don't wrestle anymore.
And I just want to put on the record, Rob the Genius, for him not to tell the truth when he is so critical of so many other people. If you were to hear the things he says about Jack Perry, a star who knows how to wrestle, a star who could be a main eventer today, a star who was born a star, the things he has said about Jack Perry are abysmal. I want it on the record. Rob the Genius has been it has been a danger to everyone's safety, that some of the things he said about Jack Perry, disrespecting him, and I want that on the record.
And that's the son of Luke Perry from Beverly Hills 90210. Luke Perry's kid.
Jack Perry was a star before he was even born. That tells you how big of a deal he is. And for Rob the Genius to not, be honest about how big of a star he is, but he wants to put over Jade Cargill, the worst wrestler ever. It's embarrassing.
Oh, you're crazy, Duke. One last thing we got here. Duke, you're ridiculous. You know what? One last thing we got here. I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet. I got a hard out like less than 10 minutes. PWI put up the recent top 500. I want to focus on the top 10 basically. 10-1, 10 Cody Rhodes, 9 Josh Alexander, 8 Orange Cassidy, 7 Okada, 6 MJF, 5 El Hijo Del Vikingo, 4 Gunther, 3 John Moxley, 2 Roman Reigns, 1 Seth freaking Rollins. And Duke, you have issues with this, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I sue them every year for their list.
Of course,
so it's not a surprise. Anyone who says Roman Reigns is not the number one wrestler in the world legitimately is on the take. They're just doing the wrong thing. Seth Rollins, he can't draw. Roman Reigns can.
Can I say the only reason I think Roman is not number one is because he probably wrestled less matches in that time frame? That's it.
Yeah, but
I'm with you. Because I'm with you on Roman. No, because I'm with you on that. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Roman being number one should be number one.
PWI does not adhere to their own criteria in that regard because they got people in high positions who have not wrestled as much as other people. And I'm not even talking about indie wrestlers either. So that criteria doesn't even hold water. The reality situation is Roman Reigns he's the biggest thing in wrestling. And he might be the biggest thing in wrestling history at this point. With the company sold for over 3 times their value under him being the top guy. So you could not ever tell me that anyone could rank higher than that. And no one's ever drawn more money than that.
It's funny you said that because when we talk about when I have conversations about Mount Rushmore, all-time WWE guys, pro wrestling guys, I always make my list based on how the company is doing as well too, because there's a correlation to that.
Sure.
I don't give a shit whether you love him or hate him. You can't say Hulk Hogan's Mount Rushmore guy. It's not a Rushmore guy because of the fact that company flourished at a time when Hogan was the top guy. Stone Cold Steve Austin, as short as it was, flourished in that time when he was the top guy. Roman Reigns now has a case.
He's above them.
Well, I mean, we can discuss whether above or
he's drawn more than both of them put together.
Oh, of course, right. I mean, again, Hogan building blocks of that. Austin continue that, and then Roman, of course, is taking it to the stratosphere. My point is, in terms of talking about Roman Reigns as a Mount Rushmore guy, that was inconceivable 3-4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yeah, I can see that. Anybody else on this list, the top 10 that you have issue with?
The whole thing.
Of course. Bob, go ahead, please.
Okay. Look, some of this stuff were like having, Roman, Seth, and Moxley 1, 2, 3. That was obviously a magazine selling stunt. Mm-hmm. To have all 3 members of the Shield 1, 2, and 3.
I just noticed that actually. Yeah.
Okay. So that is what it is. Moxley should not be number 3.
Right.
Too high.
Yeah, way too high. Gunther at 4. Well, Gunther,
he should be higher. Sorry.
No. Well, I guess the question, the only problem is how much higher though, because only 3 spots over him.
All right, okay, 1 spot. Top 3.
Okay. The Vikingo guy, that's another. They're playing to the IWC. They're playing to the IWC crowd with that.
Mm-hmm. MJF
too
high.
Failure, shouldn't even be on the list. Shouldn't even be on the list.
No,
that's ridiculous.
He's definitely too high though. Failure of title reign this far.
Although
Adam Cole's pretty cool though, but that's about it.
He's number 6.
Yeah.
I mean, he can say I headlined a show at Wembley Stadium that drew 75,000 people.
According to Duke, 10,000 though. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. But
right.
Wow. Okay. But I know Duke hates Orange Cassidy. I like Orange Cassidy.
You hate Orange Cassidy?
Duke hates Orange Cassidy.
You hate Orange Cassidy?
he is the least believable wrestler I've ever seen.
Get up my show right now. No joking.
Least believable wrestler.
Well, he's well, this is why I like Orange Cassidy though. He's sports entertainment.
But is he a top 10 wrestler? Stop.
No, that I agree with him. Oh, he's had a good year though. I mean, we'll argue about semantics on that.
A good year doing what? With a bunch of goofballs? With a bunch of goofballs? Stop it.
No, he was the America's champion. He defended the title like 8 million times and successfully. So
against a bunch of goofballs. What about the quality of the talent you're wrestling? Right?
Oh,
he's fun though. He's good for. I like for the reason I love WWE sports entertainment.
Roman Reigns beat all the top wrestlers in the entire world. Orange Cassidy can't and MJF can't say that. Give me a break.
Okay. Anyhow, all right. So who's number?
Josh Alexander's number 9.
He was hurt for a while. He was hurt for a while.
What the hell are we doing?
He was injured for a while. I mean, wow. He's one of the. He's one of the best technical wrestlers in the world. But he was injured for a while, and I'd probably have him lower.
Cody Rhodes number 10.
He was injured for a long time too.
He's too high though. Even though he's had the bigger matches though, but he's
number 10. With the amount of time he missed at number 10, he shouldn't be number 10 with the amount of time he missed.
I feel like they weighted the WrestleMania match with Roman Reigns as a reason why he's top 10 because of a great match.
Oh, sure.
They waited that he was in AEW because Kevin and
he was out. No, he was gone by then. He's gone. This is from
Kevin is an AEW mark. He's a Japan mark, and he'll fill this stuff up with a bunch of people that have no business being on that list. That's what it is. That's what it is. Cody Rhodes has no business being top 10 wrestler of anything ever in his life. Give me a break. And neither was his daddy, by the way. That's another story.
Give me one guy. Give me one guy's not in the top 10. Should be in the top 10. Dude, go.
Bobby Lashley. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Rob, go ahead.
Top 10 who was not there.
Give me guys who's not there should be in top 10 in your opinion.
Oh, man. Good question.
I got one.
Who's number 11? Who's number 12?
Number 12. Snod is number 11. Claudio Castagnoli is number 12.
No. Embarrassing.
No. I'm trying to think going through all the WWE.
I'll tell you two guys right now. 13, 14 should be in top 10. We know what 13, 14 is? Carmelo Hayes and Samoa Joe.
Yep.
Yes. I'll give you Carmelo Hayes definitely.
Carmelo Hayes should be top 5 probably. In fact.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I don't even watch NXT. That's funny that I don't even watch NXT. I know this.
Yeah. I'd put Dragunov in the top 10.
Dragunov, he's had some bangers. Yeah. Yep.
All right, that'll do it. We're good. Plug away, guys. Rob, go first. Plug your stuff.
Okay, as always, every week you can find me part of the Mindless Wrestling podcast and Chair Shot Radio Network, and every other week, usually, you can hear me on my own thing, the Rob the Genius podcast.
Duke Loves Wrestling, Facebook, Twitter, Duke Loves Wrestling, all the major podcast channels. Shout out to my boy Jack Perry. Shout out to Tony Khan. Tony Khan has lifted the black ball that he has on the Duke. AEW contracted talent are now allowed on the show. We just had Layla Gray. On Wednesday, the 27th, we'll be dropping Khan from ROH, former 2-time ROH 6-man champ. So, Tony Khan's playing ball, and it may be because of that job performance review that I did of him when I let him know that he needs to get his act together. So now that that's happened, and he realizes that what I said, he just lost Jade Cargill, and everybody realized that I said is true. Suddenly, he has lifted the black ball. So it's all up from here, folks. I'm going to keep my foot up all of the backsides. I'm going to sue Bob. EJ, you're on thin ice as well.
Hey, your mom loves me more than those people, so I'm good. Thanks, Lois, man. Good job.